Hey, good morning, folks. I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Yes, I know it's raining. I understand. Just relax, okay? We're going to get through this. Let's do it together this morning. Can't wait. Have a great lineup today. Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley this morning. We've got Ask the Doc, and then after Dr. Whaley is in here with your questions. This morning we have the All-Star Political Panel. Now Bruce cannot be with us. He's traveling today, so we're going to have Jane and Rick with us, but All-Star Political Panel. And then 9:30 we'll have Jesse Barton, North Georgia Senior Living with Jesse Barton. If you say that 3 times, you get it right one time. North Georgia Senior Living with Jesse Barton. She will be in here. And then our Pet of the Week from the Humane Society at 9:45. Now, before I get started, you know, have things changed? This could be your home office. So I come in, and every Friday morning we come in Circuit World and we look around and we say, okay, where are we going to position the camera today, and where are we going to set up? And today we have this right here. Now this looks like, Josh, I don't want to say a plane, but this just looks like a nice couch chair setup, right? No, this could actually be the home office. Now this is go-go gadget time, right? You flip up the hood and you turn the lights on, okay? But you turn the lights on because you flip this down. Watch this. Cup, plug right in there. USB ports. This is the home office right here. While you're watching your favorite movies on a Circuit World TV, I was like, wow. I mean, you plug your laptop. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too amazed by this, but
it's like a hotel.
Exactly. I'm thinking to myself, wow. Okay. Sorry, I had to do that, folks. I couldn't help it. When they showed me this morning, I'm like, boom, there's the home office right there. Folks, don't we have a lot to talk about? Maybe the All-Star Political Panel. Our President of the United States went to Vietnam to meet with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, okay? And they parted. They shook hands, but they parted, and we didn't exactly achieve what the President wanted, or maybe what Chairman Kim wanted. So they went over and met. They've come home. Oh, by the way, there's the guy, Michael Cohen, right? That the media is just blowing up. I mean, that has been the greatest thing to the deep state media, to run the Michael Cohen testimony. And we're going to talk about that with the All-Star Panel. We're going to really get deep into that. And I find it interesting, all of a sudden, the media, the deep state media, as I call them, their interest and their concern where Otto Warmbier is with what happened with Otto Warmbier. Now, Otto is the college student that was over in North Korea, was accused of spying, put into a prison camp, and basically ended up in a brain-dead vegetative state, was sent back to this country from President of the United States, Donald Trump, got him back to this country before he actually died. And this week there was a comment in Vietnam where President Trump said, I asked Chairman Kim. He said he did not know it was happening, did not know what was going on. And now the media all of a sudden has great concern. They didn't have that concern over Otto when he was in North Korea, and the former president, which would be Barack Hussein Obama, and the liberals and the Democrats and the media were not doing something to try to get his release before he went into a brain-dead vegetative state there in North Korea. Just saying, okay? But now they're all concerned. We'll talk about all of that. We got a lot going on. It's already 8:06. We got to take a commercial here, and we're going to come back. We're going to have Dr. William Whaley in here, Ask the Doc, and a great lineup today. Let's just get through this rainy Friday together. We'll be okay. I'm your host, BKP. Take us a break, Josh.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff. Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little,
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Circuit World this beautiful Friday morning. I know. We're going to get through the rain together. It is a beautiful day. It is what you make it. So,
it is.
All right? So
Yeah,
that's what we're
right.
going to do. Thank you, Dr. Whaley, being here, and we want to thank Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital, for this segment. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. I want to pick up on one thing you were saying about, because I'm not going to get into the expert panel, and I'm not going to tell a joke, because we got lots of stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Today. But the number one hashtag yesterday, I don't know what a hashtag is, by the way,
but you know which was number one.
The number one hashtag in the world yesterday was Trump fails. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was. Now, all the European press and all of the standard U.S. press had the idea that Trump was overmatched at the bargaining table because the guys with him, Pompeo, the rest of them, Bolton, are neophytes at diplomacy and bargaining, and the three guys that were with him have been bargaining since the late 70s, the end of the Vietnam War era, and all with China and stuff, and they've got 40, 50 years apiece of diplomatic experience, which tells me they don't know a daggum thing about bargaining with a businessman. And when he stepped up from the table and shook and said, fine, your offer's not enough, come back when you got a better one. It reminds me of people buying real estate up here, you know, when the price is this and they offer you that, and you say, well, let's go to the middle, and this guy says, no, I'm not selling it for that, and walks away. That's the businessman way of doing it, and I'm so proud of him I can't stand it. And they didn't stand there and nickel and dime him and said, no, we can't reach an agreement here, and packed up and left. They don't know how to deal with that.
It has the Chinese very concerned this morning, not concerned in a bad way for us, very concerned. And I often comment on the negotiator, the president, what a good negotiator the president is. But I want to say this, I don't want to quote it, but I have the Reagan Diary.
Close. Okay? Yeah.
And in the Reagan Diary, I don't want to quote what it is, but in one day of the Reagan Diary, there was a he wrote in there, Ronald Reagan, about Reykjavik.
Yeah,
when he was with Gorbachev. All right,
yeah, right. He didn't know.
And this is what I don't want to quote, but I think what he said. He looked at his people. He said, "If we leave now, can we be home in time for supper?" And they said, "Yes, sir, Mr. President. If we leave now, we can be back at the White House in time. Let's go." Let's go. Let's go home. He said, "Let's go home."
That's right.
And he got up. And it's well known that him and Gorbachev got up when he heard this, and he stormed out of the room, because he said he stormed out of the room, and they did part there. Now they came out front at Reykjavik and together, not with him. They came out front together, but you could tell noticeably
there was
not
tense.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, what happened this week?
Nobody's done that since Reagan.
Right, does not concern me at all.
No, me either. No.
And I am glad he said, you know what, I came here, I was prepared to make you an economic deal that will absolutely explode in your country, and your people will be so happy, and you want to turn that down, I'm going to go home.
You couldn't have been
right?
You couldn't have been a better place for it. As you know, I've been to Vietnam. And if you watched a lot of that stuff, they told you they got a communist government literally right across the street from the Lenin Monument.
Right.
Is a Starbucks and a Burger King and a McDonald's, and say they have entrepreneurship there, and those people are all driving cars and they look great. Anyway, let's get.
I didn't see the baskets and the
little thing.
Right, I didn't see all that. Did you?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
All right.
That was economic progress. We need to get to our first question. I think we're going to talk about that on the All-Star Political Panel and later. But Dr. Whaley here. Let's start with our first question. I was recently diagnosed with some skin cancer. A friend suggested asking about Mohs surgery. What is Mohs surgery, and is it effective?
Well, first of all, we got to talk about the skin cancer first, right? Because they just said skin cancer. Well, that's just like saying transportation. You know, you got a bicycle and you got the Concorde jet. So
transportation, a lot of big window there.
Okay, pick up the first one, because we're trying to make an educational thing here. We're not trying to make people surgical experts. All right, so we're going to talk first of all about the lump on your skin. Let's see. Well, you don't have many because you're so young, but you just take a few looks at mine. You got the 5 signs of skin cancer up there. All right, this is just one particular malignancy, and this is just skin cancer in general. But the difference between most skin cancers and a plain old freckle is in some of these categories. You'll see asymmetry, meaning it's not looking like a round spot.
Right.
Second is the borders are generally of a benign tumor are typically smooth and regular, and the borders of a malignancy are generally irregular. There are some.
So asymmetry, not exactly defined.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't look like
the border around the outside.
Yeah, it looks a little different. And the symmetry is the right side doesn't look like the left side.
Exactly.
Now, colors. Most benign things are of uniform color, and many malignancies, not all, are of variable color. And most skin cancer, most benign things are never bigger than 1/4 of an inch. Well, 1/4 of an inch is not so big, right? And so if it gets a little bigger, but the third is, and the biggest one is evolving. In other words, changing. All right?
Okay.
If it's changing. So go to that next one there, because that next one is some real examples. Now I've got the color pictures for you here, because the color pictures are better than, that's what he's showing now on the TV, I hope. That's what asymmetry means. You see and you see the variability in the color pattern there and the color pattern there, and that in the middle of this one, that's a 1/4 inch circle, and that thing there is 3/4 of an inch, and that is black at one end and brown at the other. So that, you look at that thing, that's what my wife saw on my arm when we were flying back from Kuala Lumpur years ago, and turned out to be a melanoma. Now, I think you know that last year, let's see, where's that next one? Last year, I had 7 skin biopsies. So pick up the next one here. I had 7 skin biopsies last year. 4 of those 7 were malignant. Now, you remember when I came in here and my eyebrow was way up there?
Yes, yeah.
That was Mohs surgery, by the way, so we'll get back to that again in a minute. But what I wanted to say is, when they start talking about skin cancer, you don't know what, there's a whole menagerie here. You got basal cells, you got squamous cells, you've got the melanoma, which is the one you have to worry about there the most. And then I'm going to throw a curve at you. Go to that. Well, never mind. We'll go to the surgical picture next. This is Mohs chemosurgery. Okay. Mohs surgery generally is done in places where the skin is tight, or it's around your eyebrow or your nose or somewhere on your face, where simply cutting out a big old hunk of skin and pulling the edges together would be cosmetically unpleasing. Now, your question doesn't tell you where this cancer is, does it?
No, it doesn't.
All right. So, if I had those 7 biopsies, you'll remember I only had 1 that was on the face. That was done with Mohs surgery, and it left my eyebrow way up there, and I pluck eyebrow hairs out of there every once in a while when they grow, but and we'll talk about hair later. But so, if you have any of these malignancies in places, say on the arm or the trunk or somewhere where it's not cosmetic, then the issue is it gets cut out with a good wide margin, generally a whole centimeter around it. So if you've got a tumor in there that's bigger than the head, the eraser pencil head, or the size of a dime, and then you're talking about taking a centimeter around it, you're talking about a hunk of meat that's bigger than a silver dollar or a 50-cent piece. Well, on your face, that's going to be a big mess, isn't it? So anywhere else in the body that it can be just taken out, skin edges pulled together and healed, that's what's done. But here's Mohs surgery, and we're going to show 2 different pictures of this. First of all, this is in a spot right in front of the ear that's real common for sun-damaged skin. Mine happened to be on my forehead, so it was just above the eyebrow. And what they do in Mohs surgery is they very carefully carefully outline the margins of it. This looks like somebody drew around it with a black pen, doesn't it? Well, guess what they did? They drew around it with a black pen.
Okay. Well, on the sheet, okay. Yeah, it looks like it.
It does on here, too. They drew around with a black pen. And then they went in there and they cut that whole thing out. And they went as you see how that blade going underneath that? They cut it out as thinly as they can. Now, go over to the next one. This is where it gets kind of complicated. Mohs surgery takes hours. I mean, the shortest would be 2 or 3 hours. Because this is that little hunk of skin they pulled out of here. You got that? Mm-hmm. They have sliced it down the middle so that 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, these borders are all well defined as to where they are in relationship to the guy's head.
Right.
Now they're going to put that thing on a slide cutter, and they're going to very thinly slice it. Then it's going underneath the microscope. And then at the microscope, you're going to see that out here at the outside edge, that down there at the bottom left-hand side, is it good enough for them to see? Can they see the bottom left-hand side? That one says E, that's got a bunch of dark stuff on the outside. Well, that's dark stuff on the outside, still cancer. So now he's going to go back in the operating room. That's going to be 25 minutes. They had a headset on me, and I was listening to Willie Nelson, and I was lying on my back and my head over like that. My neck got stiff, but I could listen to Willie Nelson, and I can sleep anywhere, they'll tell you. I can sleep in an MRI machine, and I've done it. So I would fall asleep. And then they'd come back in there, and then they'd go in there, and what they'll do next is they'll just go from here and go in that direction again, a couple of millimeters like that. Then the whole process starts again. But what they're trying to do, if you go back to this picture of the ear that's up at the top right-hand side, is they don't want to deform the ear. They don't want to go way out here, and they don't want to take out so much meat that's looking like that. And you've seen people looking like that. So Mohs surgery can be used for any of these kinds of cancers we were showing there a minute ago. Generally, it is not used for melanoma, because melanoma is the bad one that gets in your lung and your liver, and you want to get a wide margin around that. Most of the time, they will take if there was a melanoma on the face there, they'd take out a big hunk here, they'd make a skin graft, and then that skin graft would always look like there's a big silver dollar sitting on the side of your head. So there is research going on right now to take Mohs surgery versus that procedure to see if Mohs is as good, better, or worse than that big hunk of meat they took out of your head. And the preliminary, that's why I say never jump on something that's in the National Enquirer on the front page of the thing in the checkout line in the supermarket. But the first 600 patients, and that's not a small number of patients, 600 patients that were treated with Mohs, compared to the 600 people who were treated the other way, the Mohs people have done as well as those that had the big hunk, and might have done a little bit better in terms of recurrence. Now, you say, well, why do you say that? Well, if they had the surgery last year, year before last, you're not going to know for 10 years that it didn't recur. But at least in the first 2 or 3 years of this clinical trial, the recurrence rate or the spreading rate for the people that got the Mohs versus the one that got the big old hunk of cancer taken out is as good, if not a tiny bit better. So to answer the question, you don't want to ask about Mohs surgery until you've, first of all, you're out of the hands of Ray. He's not going to take care of this. Ray Tidman's going to send you upstairs to a dermatologist where they have excellent dermatologists. That dermatologist is going to make a biopsy. And that dermatologist, if he believes that you are going to best be served by Mohs surgery, will not be doing it. Because this is a pyramid like this, and very, very high at the top are the guys who do Mohs surgery. So I had to go to Atlanta to get my Mohs surgery. And I want to tell one of my stories about doctors to make people comfortable in this age of, it's not on my insurance plan and I don't know what to do. About 30 years ago, a deacon at the North Avenue Presbyterian Church, and one of our missionaries who had been born and raised in Brazil by a missionary family was a missionary. He was been raised in Brazil. He was a missionary in Colombia, and he was working with the Colombian Supreme Court. I'm not positive he didn't have some State Department contacts, if you know what I mean. But he called me one day, and what the Supreme Court was doing in Colombia was trying to put the brakes on the drug cartels. So the Supreme Court guys were at risk, and they were trying to help them with religion and stuff. And he said, this guy has a tumor at the edge of his nose that the doctors in Colombia want to amputate part of his nose and part of his face and make a pretty big hole. And as the Supreme Court justice, he's afraid that that'll impact his perception by the public and by the people in his courtroom. And we've just heard about this new surgery that Ronald Reagan had. That was Mohs surgery, and there's some guy in Washington, D.C. that did it. What do you think the chances are you could get that guy in Washington to do it? I said, I'm sure I could get him to do it. He said he'd have to do it for free because there's no insurance and the guy couldn't pay for it. Well, I didn't hesitate a bit. So I found out who the guy was, and I called him on the telephone in Washington. And you know me, I'm a little bit pushy, and I introduced myself, and I said I'm a deacon at this church, and I'm the president of the Medical Association of Atlanta. I just want to ask you if you could be involved in this situation. I told him about it. He said, I'd be absolutely pleased to treat him. If you can get him up here, he said, I'll be happy to do the Mohs surgery, and I'll do it for free, and I can give him a good result. And then he stopped a minute. He said, where'd you say you were from? I said, Atlanta, Georgia. He said, well, do you know Dirk Robertson? I said, yeah, Dirk's a new dermatologist here. His office is across the hall from me, and he's married to one of my partner's sisters. Well, Dirk taught me how to do this. He said, go ask Dirk.
Go across the hall.
I went across the hall. I didn't know Dirk did chemo surgery. I walked across the hall. So Dirk treated the guy free 30-something years ago, and Dirk's the guy that did my head. So Dirk is about my age, you know.
So the guy you looked up that treated Ronald Reagan, President Reagan, in Washington, D.C., he said, I'll be glad to do it, but why are you asking me?
Well, not why are you asking me. It was are you from Atlanta? I said, yeah. But he said, well,
he taught me how to do it. If you know
Dirk, he taught me how to do it. So what I'm trying to say with that is doctors do things free all the time.
Yes.
And doctors are happy to do stuff free all the time. This is my 49th year of practice, and I've never asked, can a patient pay? So every doctor I know will give his sweat equity and his time. Now, he can't give you chemotherapy. He can't get the hospital to let you in there for nothing or give you anesthesia for nothing. But I know I could get any orthopedist to fix your hip, do the surgery for free, or a plastic surgeon take care of a cancer on your face and do it for free if I asked him. But the system, the way it's constructed with the hospital and the plans and the stuff, Northside Cancer Center, and I want to say this, has more charity than any other public hospital system in the state. And everybody who shows up in our office with cancer without the ability to pay without insurance gets treated, period.
I appreciate that. That was a very good story, and that I know that means a lot to our viewers out there, and sometimes that gets overshadowed, that there are a lot of doctors that do give their time and will help and don't turn people down.
You said a lot. I don't know of any. If I asked them myself to treat this guy in doing something I don't do, so look, I'm treating him for nothing, will you treat him for nothing, that wouldn't do it, honestly. Anyway, let's talk about hair.
Let's talk about hair. Okay.
Hair. Well, you got a great haircut.
Wait a minute. Could you talk about hair without, now I don't know about our younger audience, but remember the song Hair? Long, beautiful hair, remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I got in trouble when I got that 45.
I learned so much about hair.
All right, so here we go. We want to thank Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital, for bringing this segment to you. And our second question today, I feel I have begun losing hair more than normal. I am in my 30s and don't know what has caused this to start occurring. Ken?
Corticosteroids.
Give me a chance. I was going to get it. Corticosteroids help me with hair loss.
Probably not. How's that quick? All right, so this gets into the point of hair biology, hair anatomy, and there's nobody in this room or in this audience that isn't interested in hair. So I learned so much about this. First of all, there's some real bad questions, there's some problems in the question here. What sex is this patient?
I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah,
that's right. So we need to know if it's. Listen, I'm just going to tell you out there, if you really want to dig deep on your question, we need to know an area of age, two things, and male, female.
Yeah, and then in some questions, we need to know a location on the body or whatever.
Right, and a lot of times you'll say, how old is this patient?
Yeah.
If we don't
well,
know.
we got an age here.
All right, so we got 30s.
Yeah, we got the 30s, so that's good. Now, we all know people who turned gray in their 20s. And we know people who are 70 and still have a pretty decent hair color. No amount of jogging, vitamins, organic food, gluten-free diet, exercise, or anything else is going to change that, correct?
I agree.
That is a biological characteristic in your hair root that tells that God put it there for the pigment to come out at 20 or to stay there till you're 70. That's the first thing.
You know what? I've been, my whole family, from my mom, all of us, I've been gray since 19 years old. I started gray. Now I have two sisters that are not gray, and I don't understand the mystery yet. That's my joke. Okay. I said that. So anyhow, okay.
All right.
Sorry, I just.
So we're going to show a few pictures to get started here. So the first one here looks like our host here at Circuit World. That is male pattern baldness.
Right.
Big hole in the back top of the head. You can guarantee by looking at it, it goes to the front. This can occur beginning in a man, beginning at about age 22, 23. This patient's in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So may have had a great head of hair. So now we're going to go back a step and might be beginning to look like this and think there may be some, maybe I've got dandruff or cooties or whatever else people think makes their hair fall out. That's pretty good, dandruff and cooties, isn't it? So this is sort of the way male pattern baldness begins in the back of the head. And
in the area called the crown?
Yeah.
Right around? Yeah.
Right there.
Okay.
All right. That's the thickest part of your skull. That's a real thick part, too. You can get hit up there pretty hard and not die. You can get over here not too hard and you'll die. All right. So, now, if you want to know what frontal baldness looks like beginning in the 20s, you just got to look at me, okay? That's frontal baldness. My head looked like that when I was 25, 30 years old, maybe 17 or 18. So now we go to this nice guy right here, see? All right, so that's male pattern baldness. It can occur at any age, starting in your teens. It's going to occur even in that guy with a full head of hair in his 60s and 70s for reasons that I'm going to give you in just a minute. I have the sense that this question came from a female, and I'm just begging the female part. So let's go to that last one from the top of the head. This is, you see this thinning of the hair on the top of the head. This patient is older than 30, but female hair thinning can begin in the 20s or 30s. It is constitutional, meaning it's genetic, but there are medical conditions that can be associated with it. So if a man's got regular old male pattern baldness, he asked Ray sometime, Ray, this looks like I got regular old male pattern baldness, or well, I'm getting bald, what should I do about it? And Ray tell you buy a hat. But when a female starts doing this in her 30s, then she doesn't need to worry about taking corticosteroids. She needs to go see Ray or go see her primary care doc, because this might be thyroid disorder, this might be iron deficiency anemia,
Right,
or
okay.
a medical issue. But this is the way the hair in chemotherapy begins to go out,
Right.
where our chemotherapeutic drugs interfere with the, oh, you're going to love this because this is so complicated, with the hair growth pattern, which I'll come to in just a minute, called anagen. You like that one? Anagen. All right, now show this next big old chart, and this will tell you why you're not just going, this is about 3 pages long in its reality. It's got 12 different non-normal causes of hair loss, meaning it just isn't because you're getting older and you got mare pattern baldness. And now you'll get none of these words. Discoid leucus erythematosus and lichen planopilaris and blah, 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 goes on and on and on. So what if you have patterns of baldness where you got a circle here and a circle up there? That's not male pattern baldness. That's not getting older. That can be one of these disorders. Ray's going to send you straight upstairs to the dermatologist, but this is only a half or 1% of the normal baldness that we see. Now I'm going to ask, I know we're getting running on here in time, so I'm going to always ask our foil over there. How many hairs are on your head, Josh?
1,000.
Huh?
1,000.
Give me a number out loud. Howler.
3,000.
The human scalp contains, read it out loud, BK.
100,000 to 150,000 hair follicles.
That's a lot of hair follicles. So when a guy goes
I'm in the
to,
150 range.
You're in the 150 range.
Sorry.
When a guy goes to get the hair transplant, like Joe Biden, and they do a plug and they get 8 hair follicles and put 8 in there, I mean, you can imagine you wouldn't be able to transplant near enough hair to have it ever look totally natural. Okay, you got that? Now, the hair is a complicated structure. Down at the bottom, it looks like a spring onion down below the surface of the skin, and it's got a bulb and a shaft and a place where the growth factors are, and then where the spring onion would be popping through the ground and have the green, that's the long shaft of the hair. So here's what I'm going to do a quick thing on this, and then we're going to quit. But my wife says I'm talking too much. 80% or 90% of the hair follicles in your head at this moment are in an active growth phase. They grow 3 millimeters a day, and they stay in that growth phase for somewhere around 2 to 6 years. Then they enter a phase where they stop growing, and they are in that phase for about 3 weeks. And then they go into a third resting phase, which can last up to about 3 months or so. And then they go back up to the growth phase. So it's natural for there to be a period when they're not growing. And in that stage, you lose a certain number of hairs every day. How many, Josh? How many hairs is normal to lose at the top of your head every day?
100.
Hi, you got it. 100 to 150. All right, so there we go. So you don't count the hairs on your pillow and your scalp, but that's the normal biological situation with hair. Then you've got the characteristics that make it kinky and long, and that all has to do with the way it grows. But basically, no, corticosteroids aren't going to help unless it's less than 0.5% of those medical causes I gave you. Now, my wife was asking me, we were talking about this today, what about that stuff that you rub on the hair that makes your hair grow? You'll remember that I told you about the prostate drug a few months ago, that when they gave it to patients to make their prostate smaller to keep waking up at night, they noted their hair grew. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the drug Proscar, which interferes with the testosterone at the root and makes the testosterone effect a little less. But back in the 70s, we talk about high blood pressure and blood pressure pills. There was a pill called minoxidil that came out for blood pressure that was too high to be controlled by losartan. And that minoxidil would drop your blood pressure down great. It's not on the market anymore as a blood pressure medicine because the people that took it began to look like the whatever the guy is that grows
The
all
Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolfman. They grew hair on their forehead and the back of their hand and their chin and their back and everywhere, women or men. So they had to stop using the drug orally. And some guy said, well, what happens if we crush it all up, make a paste out of it, and you rub it on your hair? So the dermatologist that gives you a lotion to put on your head when you've got early male pattern baldness that makes the hair regrow is that old blood pressure pill called minoxidil.
I remember
so
that.
There
I
are
remember
some. All right. So there are some treatments for male pattern baldness. And lastly, when women go through this period of hair thinning after they get past menopause, we've discussed this before. The adrenal gland in males and females makes estrogen at the same amount, whether you're testosterone at the same amount, whether you're a male or a female. But when you're a young woman and in your menstruating age, you got a low bunch of estrogen up here, so your estrogen testosterone level is high. Then as you go past menopause, the estrogen level falls, testosterone level stays the same, so the ratio becomes more in testosterone. It can work on your hair root, and then if you got the biology for baldness, then you begin to get a little bit of male pattern baldness, and women who get their hair thin, first thins here. That last picture that I showed across the top, that would be a woman in her 50s or 60s with an exaggerated early male pattern baldness caused by her hormones, not by something that hydrocortisone would help. Stop
okay,
that.
I want to answer this. I know time. I could talk about all the things. I could talk about hair for another 30 minutes. I want to.
Because you got so much.
No, not just because I have so much, but I want to say this. Now, not that mothers would make anything up.
No, they would not.
They would never make anything up. But mothers will tell you things, I think sometimes, just because. I don't know how to put that. I get in trouble.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to say from the time I was 17 to 27, I'm going to take that 10-year span.
Right.
You did not see me 7 days a week without a hat on. I wore a hat 7 days a week. So I get in trouble. I wasn't allowed to have a hat at the table. Mom yelled at me, take that hat off, can't have it. But anyhow, so 7 days a week I would wear a hat for 10 years, well, even younger. But she would say, that's going to cause you to go bald.
Right. They did because they thought that it would constrict the
but
blood.
But it didn't, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, Mom. I did.
Still got a head full of hair.
Sorry, Mom, but the hat won't cause you to go bald.
All right.
All right. I didn't mean to put that one out there, but I had to clear that one up. You know what I mean? So, Dr. Whaley, again, thank you, Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital, for our segment. And I know we've run a little long, but it's great information that you've shared with us this morning on skin cancer. And will the hat make you go bald? No. But so what's new in the medical news?
All right, there were two big things. I got to go. I'm going to get to the first one first. We were talking about sleep patterns here a few weeks ago, and I said take the cell phone away from the kids at night, give it back to them after breakfast in the morning because they're Googling all night long and they're not getting good sleep. And then somebody says, well, they can catch up on the weekends. Study came out yesterday. Weekend sleep does not catch up and can make you worse. Now, we're talking about sleep, and I know there are people here in this table whose average amount of sleep at nighttime is more like 5 or 6 hours. No, not saying who they are.
Okay, all right.
No age group has recommended sleep of less than 7 hours. Teenage, children, less. Kids, I told you before, it's up to 8 or 10, but people in our age group, it's 7 3/4 to 8 1/2. So this is a very well done study of 3 groups of people. The first group was allowed 9 hours of sleep a night. The second group, 5 hours of sleep a night. The third group, 5 hours of sleep a night for the 5 days of the week, and they could sleep as long as they wanted on Saturday and Sunday, which is the pattern. Now I want you to listen to this over there. The pattern of many working people. They say, I got to get up at 5:30 to get to my job, and so I'm sleeping 5 or 6 hours during the week, but I catch up on the weekends. Here's what happened. Catching up on the weekends does not work. The 5-hour people and the 5-hour people who catch up on the weekends dropped their sensitivity to insulin, which led to an increase in weight, a decrease in insulin sensitivity, more high blood pressure, and more type 2 diabetes. So don't let anybody fool you that's sleeping only 5 or 6 hours a night during the week can be caught up on the weekends. Now, the second thing I want to...
Well, wait a minute. But so when somebody says, I'm exhausted, I need to catch up on my sleep, there's no such thing.
No such thing.
Okay, all right.
Jet lag.
I mean,
is
you
nothing.
enjoy the 9 hours sleep, but you didn't catch up.
You didn't catch up.
I don't like words like damage, but whatever damage has taken place in those 5 days, that did not
go away.
Right, I got it.
All right,
okay.
now, so the last one is that it was in the paper. It was on in the news in the Atlanta yesterday that we are in a second wave of flu. Got that?
Mm-hmm.
First wave of flu, the H3N2 has fallen off. The new one, this coming up now the H1N1 has fallen off and the H3N2 has come in. This is a more serious flu than the last one. This particular flu vaccine is well matched to it. There is a tailing off of your immunity with the flu vaccine, and the recommendation of the CDC yesterday was there's a lot more flu in our future. If you have not had your vaccine, go get it now, even though it's the end of February.
Thank you, Dr. Whaley. I appreciate you very much.
Laughing back here from the expert panel.
This is the expert. Well, that's a panel. This is just one. So
one expert. All
so
right.
We'll just go with, here's our expert.
Right.
Dr. Whaley, if you'd like to get a question to him, you send it to info, I-N-F-O, fetchyournews.com. Send it and put in the subject line there, ask the doc, and send us a question for Dr. Whaley, and we'll get it over to him and hopefully get it up here where the doctor will answer it on the show. We want to thank Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital, for this segment, and we want to thank you for the great information.
Age, sex, family history in your question.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, yes, exactly. Age, some family history
Sex.
will be helped, and male, female. That is, if you watch the doctor, he'll always say, we just got this question, but we don't know how old. Age could change it, male, female,
right.
And some family history.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Whaley. Again, thank you, Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to have our all-star political panel in here, and it seems like every week we have something to talk about. We'll be back after these messages.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff. Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Okay, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and we're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, Georgia. We have Rick and Jane and